Yeah, you do.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Never a Straight Answer podcast, the podcast that aims to cover a wide range of topics from conspiracy theories to popular culture and news. I'm your host Gaz, and joining me in the studio, well, he believes that there's only 18 letters in the alphabet because an ET flew off in a UFO and was chased by the CIA. He's my co-host, Mr. Taylor.
Yes, good evening everybody. Welcome one and all.
Welcome. Oh, did you like that?
Yeah, I loved it.
I mean, it fucks you up in the alphabet if that is true, because obviously you're stolen all the vowels, but you know, what are you going to do? Well, like I say, welcome back to another episode of the show. Thank you, new listeners, and of course you repeat offenders.
Keep repeating.
Thanks for joining us for another episode.
Yeah.
We got a good one for you today.
We have.
Not that we don't
usual.
every week. Yeah, mostly.
Yeah. Oh, hell
Well,
yeah.
this is another alien. We're keeping it alien themed.
We are. We're loving the aliens at the
throughout
moment.
and throughout. This is a great story. This week we're going to be doing another alien mystery.
Yeah.
It's a historical event in the ufology circles. I can't speak tonight. I don't know what's going on with me. It's happened in Aurora, Texas.
Yeah.
And it's a UFO incident that's reportedly one of the oldest.
Yeah,
and in
definitely.
fact, we'd go back as far as to say it's the first
oldest.
reported UFO crash.
I believe so. It's one of the first, yeah.
Well, obviously, it's been likened to the famous Roswell UFO incident, and it was actually 50 years prior to that.
That's true.
It's claimed that there was even a fatality.
Oh, yes.
We'll be getting into it in a bit. We'll be getting into it in a bit.
In a bit.
Proper mank.
Oh, aye.
You know what I mean? We'll be getting into it later on in the show. Obviously, it's interesting, this one, because, when there's a fatality, what does that mean?
Well, yeah. Well, you expect evidence.
Evidence
You've
there,
got all
surely.
those, yeah.
Well, we'll go into the reasons why that might not be the case.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty interesting story. Make sure you stick around.
Yeah.
Again, the Aurora Texas UFO incident, we'll be getting into it pretty shortly.
Yeah.
What do you think? I mean, there's been something in the news I saw this week.
All right. What?
Before we get diving into the show.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to ask you, do you think you'd know a black hole if you saw one?
Well, I'd have to look into space, which is black, and then you've got a
The thing about
black hole
space,
there.
the thing about
So-
space is it's black. And the thing about black holes is it's black.
Well, it's only just been the last couple of years where we've actually spotted one. You know
Well,
what I
this
mean?
is the thing, and the biggest one that they've spotted, wasn't that big. I mean, it was big enough.
Yeah.
But I mean, in terms of like how big
How big
your black hole?
Yeah.
How big do you want one? How big do you want your black hole to be?
Oh,
Um,
centre of the galaxy.
Well, this is a story about a black hole that I found this week. They've discovered one.
All right.
And it's not even like kind of where you'd expect, because I mean, you'd think that they've been searching for these things.
Yeah,
for
now
quite
they've
some
got
time.
the technology to do it.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, this is the fastest growing black hole, right?
Oh, that sounds
And
good.
they found it in our fucking back garden. Basically,
Oh.
they found it in our solar system, right?
Right.
They reckon it's a planet eater, which
Oh.
means that it can consume
A lot.
a planet's worth of matter
Yeah.
a day, right? Which is quite impressive when
hungry
you think
little
about
thing.
it. It's a hungry paw,
It is.
right? So they found this, and what they reckon is they think that it was so kind of like it was missed because it was right next to our Milky Way, and people were too bothered looking at that.
Well,
For
yeah,
instance,
yeah.
I mean, there's the theory if you hold a penny up to the sky,
Right.
and then like literally whatever that penny obscures,
yeah.
if you think about what's being obscured of that region of space, that's a vast amount of space.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
to think about what's behind that penny is kind of one little section of it.
Talking millions-
So
probably
I mean,
millions
it's
of
easily
galaxies.
missed. I can understand why
Easily.
these things were missed, because obviously it's like if you're looking at this
There's a
big
lot out there.
mass, which is the Milky Way, and then you don't notice this black hole.
Well, we haven't got
Apparently-
a lot of radar on it.
Well,
but-
apparently this you can see from your back garden with a strong enough telescope.
Oh, really?
Right? Yeah, totally. And
Shit.
this is the thing. So basically, they say it's at the center of the Milky Way. So rather than looking and seeing a black hole, you're looking and seeing the Milky Way.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
it's only
Oh,
that
yeah.
when they've looked closer, like I say, this obscure behind this small little object that you could hold up could be galaxies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's only a tiny, tiny little piece of space.
Portion of it, yeah.
So,
There's
like, the idea that this was kind of being obscured and hidden by the Milky Way is quite interesting.
Which we have had a lot of problems
but it turns out that this black hole is actually 8 times brighter than 3C273, which is the first ever discovered black hole.
Jesus, so it's a lot stronger.
Yeah, and they think maybe reasons behind it forming is maybe 2 galaxies or two
black holes hitting together.
Two universes smashing together.
Well,
who knows what causes these things?
And I've always said that I think the theory that we are actually caught in a black hole horizon.
Well, they reckon it could be over 9 billion years old.
Fucking hell.
So, quite interesting. But I thought that was quite a nice little story because, like, obviously, you know, but it's not. But I started thinking that sounds dangerous. You know what I mean? But it's obviously not affected us at all.
Well, not in the biggest portion, but in small proportions.
Could be you know, part of how life is. You know, it's a
big
big ballet, isn't it?
If you think about it, it could also be a part of gravity.
Well, there you go. Maybe that's it. It could be all part and parcel. You never know.
Yeah, all joins together.
So, if you found out anything interesting about the black hole this week and you thought you'd let us know over at neverstraightanswer@gmail.co.uk or com. I don't know which one. It's .co.uk, isn't it?
Yeah, it's .co.uk.
Hey, so what have you been up to this week, Mr. Taylor? I feel like I've not seen you much.
I haven't. I've been working like a devil, man.
Working like a dog.
Yeah, I've been, and trying to get my rest in and for the next shift. But I'm enjoying.
He gets tired easy. Is what I mean. It's like he'll do a few hours shift, and then have to go to Bobies.
I don't know about a few hours.
Does a few hours and then has a Bobies.
13 hours and then chill.
Yeah. Well, no, that's fair enough. Yeah. So I mean, it's so like I say, it's just
that's
been one
what's messed sort of our schedule up and that. I do apologise, but
don't have to apologise to me. I mean, like,
I was actually supposed to do a monkeypox video.
He promises the earth, honestly. He said to me, like, I'm going to do a video. And I went, right, no worries, do it in your own time. Let's have it when you're ready.
I just hadn't had time to do it, to be honest.
That's all right. Don't worry.
It will come.
We've got some, we do have some projects, though, in the works that we do need some input. Yeah.
Yes. And maybe some help.
I mean, Taylor wants, to be doing some topical videos for YouTube. So if you've got any sort of topics that you'd like him to tackle, give us a shout over on the email or head over to the website and go through the contact page and you can send us an email. We'll get it. And if it's a good idea, we might do a video on it. Alternatively, we are looking, because I know I mentioned this a while back, but I don't think anyone took me seriously.
No, I don't think they did they?
No. Well, we are kind of looking for suggestions to what we are going to send. We are going to actually do this, aren't we?
Yes.
We are sending. We're going to be sending something to space.
Oh yes.
And we want your input on what it is that we send. Do you know what I mean? It's obviously with limits.
Yes.
We can't be sending.
Can we send Bezos?
Postage and packaging. Whatever we can get on a balloon.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
It's limited capacity of room.
We've got weight issues, but we are kind of interested to see what our listeners
would like to see in there.
I mean, some funny ideas. We're looking for the more comical, the better. Yeah, we did have a really good one earlier, and it is the Forerunner.
We did
at the moment.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Yeah. So, but we'd love to hear what you guys think. And hopefully it could be your suggestion that we actually end up using and sending up to space.
Yeah.
So, if that sounds like something you want to get involved with, then head over to the website at neverstraightanswer.co.uk.
Yes.
And hit on the contact page and send us an email.
Yes. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah. I'm quite excited about this one.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
So, other than that, so you've been working, busy boy.
Yeah.
I'm excited because Umbrella Academy starts this week. So if anyone's been watching it, Umbrella Academy Season 3 releases on the 22nd of June.
Is that the only... Oh, right. I thought there was more seasons than that.
Oh, no, season 3. So season 2 was absolutely epic. I'm really excited to see what they do in the next season.
There's going to be a lot more in this one, then.
I mean, talking about, if we're going to go TV, Obi-Wan Kenobi, if anyone's been following it, it has been absolutely amazing.
I can't wait to watch it myself.
I cannot believe that they've kind of done this and, like, you know, so well. I think there's a lot of fans who were quite happy. I mean, I've not heard a bad thing.
How many years do you reckon it'll last, the season?
Who knows? Well, they can only take it so far, can't they?
Well, I don't know. Where it's Star Wars, isn't it? They can take it into any.
No, but I think I like the idea of just doing little
bits of
background. Yeah, exactly. You don't have to kind of go like, right, yeah, that's popular, so let's do 10 series. I think like just kind of dipping your toe in. So got a rich, well of characters and sort of like landscapes to draw from. I think there's quite a lot to kind of go. In the future of Star Wars, but I mean, I think a lot of people still believe that it's all about, your Vaders and your Luke Skywalkers and all the rest of it. And that's what makes Star Wars. And it's like, unless you're getting that, it's not Star
but you
Wars.
can't do without the little characters. And
totally. I mean, I do dig what they're doing at the moment. So yeah, keep that up.
Yep, I'll be definitely trying to get hold of that.
The Boys is not disappointing either.
I need to see that as well.
You need to. He's so far behind.
I know, it's like, you know what I mean?
Well, I've got a bit of sad news, actually. Do you know Red Wall Radio?
Oh, yes.
Well, we've been frequently on Red Wall Radio for quite a while, haven't we?
We've enjoyed our time.
And it's been lovely. I mean, we've loved being on the show, being on the radio station.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they've decided to call it a day over at Red Wall.
Oh,
and it's coming to an end. So that's really bad news. Really sad news. I'd look at this point in the show. I'd be like, "We're on there at 9 o'clock on Thursday."
Yeah, we would be saying that. Yeah.
But unfortunately, it's not going to be this week because they've closed down.
Oh, it's not good.
It's a shame. I was only saying last week, weren't I, about like how it's really refreshing to see people, trying to take these things on themselves and trying to, I mean, even if it's out of your bedroom or out of your garage or whatever, having your own sort of like, stamp on it and being able to say, well, you know what, I think I can do that.
Yeah,
it's really inspiring. And like the idea behind Red Wall is exactly that. I think that it was a couple of people, or if not just the brainchild of one person who decided they wanted to do it.
Yeah,
and
going places.
And
I could see.
And I think it's just a case of that it's. It costs money to do, and it's like people who can't afford to just keep funding it themselves, and it's like
we've all got to cut our costs at the minute as well.
With the cost of living and everything. It is a shame, but hopefully they'll be back in the near future.
Oh yeah.
And we'll look forward to being on
there again.
Oh yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm hoping they will come back, and it's just like a little, a little break for now.
Maybe somebody would have been inspired enough by them to create something themselves.
Yes.
So
well said.
We'll miss you, Red Wall Radio. Thanks for championing us and supporting us. Yeah. And hopefully we'll see you guys
back on again. Yes, come back. We want to see you come back.
Well, hopefully. Right, so this week is brought to you in part by Audible.
Yes.
So Audible, I do like a good audio book.
Yeah.
I do listen to quite a few audio books, and do you know what? Do you know when you're saying, "Oh, I read that"?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I've said that when it's been an audio book, and I've gone, "Oh, I've read that," and it's.
But no, you haven't. You listened to.
You had someone read it to you. Yeah, yes. Exactly. Yeah. Can you define it as being? I read that. Can you say that if you've read it?
No,
if you've had it
if you've heard it, then but if you've read it, it's a different format.
It's the same.
Well,
but it's the same material, isn't it? It's the same context. It's the same text. Yeah.
Yeah,
but
you're using
reading it to you.
You're using a different method, though.
Totally. Well, I don't know. I mean, I'd still say I've read that.
If you read something to listening to something, you like take it in more when you're reading.
I have obtained this knowledge, sir. I have bathed in the knowledge that you provide in your pages.
Yeah. I think it's better to read than listen to it. But
Well,
I
it's
prefer to
less
listen
less
to it than read
taxing,
it, to be honest,
but
yeah.
that's where Audible is really good, because
is.
obviously Audible makes how they put it, helps you make the most of every moment.
Yeah.
With the trial, customers will receive one free audiobook of their choice to keep, even if you cancel.
Yes.
And they've got a really big range.
Oh, massive range.
Prime customers will receive 2 audiobooks in the trial. You've got the ability to choose from the world's largest selection of audiobooks, including bestsellers, new releases, sci-fis, romances, mysteries and classics, and more. They've got podcasts on. Man. They've got podcasts on as well.
Yes, that's right.
They've got how-tos. They've got like a lot of different audio like shows.
Yeah, or like when you went to the library and you got them books for dumb people.
Dummies.
Dummies, yeah. I can't remember what they called it, but it was
it'd be something like, like, I don't know, UFOs for dummies, or like...
Yeah, how to use a computer for dummies or something like that. They do them as well.
I'm going to buy you podcasting for dummies.
Oh, yeah.
Well, actually, I mean, I'll just get your subscription to Audible. I'm pretty sure it'll be on there. Well, there you go.
I will.
After 30 days, you'll receive one book every month for the cost of $7.99 per month, which is renewable annually and automatically. It's basically, you can cancel at any time, but you can download and listen to the world's best-selling story.
Selection is large.
Enjoy Audible books, original series, and much more from the app. Make the most of every moment. Audiobooks are great, and you could probably get podcasting for dummies.
Too. And why not do it now, especially with like financial strapping up at the moment? You might as well get a freebie off them.
Get economics for dummies.
Yeah, and then give it to Boris Johnson.
No, but do you reckon you could get PM-ship for dummies?
Oh, well, you don't really need that much intelligence.
He's got a dog-eared copy of that, and that's what he bases his whole fucking thing on.
That's his story.
That's his autobiography.
Yeah, that's the one.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Moving on with the show, like I say, if you do want to take part in the Audible free trial, there'll be a link in the description. So just click along the link and sign up. You'll get your token for a free book.
Yeah.
And like I say, you can cancel at any time. And if you've got one of those, Amazon Fire tablets, not the sticks, but like the tablets.
Yeah.
It puts it all into there automatically as well. So if you're used to using a Kindle,
that's right.
You can rather kind of, well, obviously, if Amazon does that as well, don't they?
Yeah, they have both.
Audio books and obviously Kindle books.
Yeah.
But
suited for all varieties.
When it puts it into your library on your tablet, and you can access all your audio books there. So
that's
really
wicked.
Good.
That's an extra step that you did.
Oh well, you can get the app as well. Like so. There you go.
Yeah.
Right. Well, moving on with the show. Anyway, I feel like I'm rambling a bit tonight. Really interesting show because, like I say, I do love an alien topic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and there's plenty to go around, but it's like, at the moment, there's a lot of kind of, a lot of talk about aliens, isn't there? A lot of talk about UFOs, how the government's been trying to cover it up, or maybe how the government's now flipped on it and are trying to come up with like, no, we want to know as well, guys.
Yeah,
we want to know the answers just as much as you do.
NASA's just done the same, haven't they? Like, all right, well, now we're getting groups together with the government and this unit, and then we're going to go and have a look, and we're gonna put more effort into having a look to see if anything was around. And it's like, well, you should have been doing that at the first place when you got the signs.
I'm not being funny, but there's going to be a lot of crazy stuff that you've gathered, being the government, that you can basically say, we've got enough evidence to suggest that there is intelligent life out there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
a high ability.
The Aurora Texas UFO incident.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, is the equivalent, or is similar to the famous Roswell UFO incident, but took place 50 years later.
50 years later?
Earlier, Roswell happened 50 years later. Happened on April 17th, 1897, so 1800s, just at the dawn of a new century.
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe that's something that these UFOs might wanted to see. What was it like back, just before the
Well, true, because
I don't know. I'm thinking the time travelers here, but they might not be. They might be just generally,
Well, I think there's if you have a look in the papers around that time, because I do remember a couple of the earlier stories around that year, in fact, where there was a couple of UFOs spotted, and there was only like little articles and like. First Man in Black wasn't that far.
Right. Yeah,
to that
around about that time. I think it does seem like there was a lot of kind of sightings. Happening, and
the governments weren't really set.
I mean, Project Blue Book hadn't even probably been introduced or started up. None of this existed.
No.
But yet there was still sightings. I mean, in terms of like the crash, this was the first reported crash.
Yeah.
Now,
government. Yeah.
How did it crash? We'll get into that in a little bit. But according to locals, the UFO had crashed in a farm in Aurora, Texas. The incident was, like I say, similar to the Roswell incident, and he's claimed to have been a fatality.
That's right, yeah.
The pilot of this so-called UFO
was found, yeah.
So they reckon, obviously, it wasn't earthly, it was alien. Right, yeah, which means that the pilot was an alien. The pilot in this story was apparently buried at the local Aurora cemetery.
That's right, yeah. And there was because they did it by a year and that, but there was a big gap from that spot. They actually had a stone where if you
like a gravestone,
but it was smaller, a bit damaged, like a normal rock. And it actually had a symbol on there of a UFO. If you check it out,
yeah, I actually saw a documentary about this, and he was basically saying that it's broken now, or it's gone missing.
Yeah.
Sort of like it was broken at one point, and he said if you were to match it up with the other piece of stone, you'd see the UFO. So, story goes, on April 19th, 1897, an article in the Dallas Morning News appeared describing a UFO crash. So it was said to have been hit by a windmill or hit a windmill, what I mean? Potentially a windmill hit it, Well,
only if there was a thunderstorm, I'd imagine.
Well, no, if it's flying through and it's judged the blades wrong and it's fucking.
Well, then that hit it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it was rather hit by the windmill or it hit a windmill. Yeah. Right. Either way,
there's been no evidence.
It was on the property of Judge J.S. Proctor. 2 days earlier, at around 6 a.m. local Central Time. Resulting in the crash, right? Yeah. So this has happened early hours of the morning. Like
made the noise.
They've been spooked, run out to check. It's like that scene in Back to the Future where he's like, "Hey, that's no airplane. It's a, like it looks like an airplane with no wings," and it's like crashed into Old Man Peabody's barn.
Oh yeah.
Sounds like very similar to this, like Steven Spielberg movie. Or something like along those lines where you've got this sort of quite quiet rural area. You've got a windmill, you've got a farmyard and all the rest of
Loads of acres.
And then all of a sudden you've got this almighty crash as a UFO comes crashing through your windmill.
And your windmill fucks, you need that windmill.
Falling down windmill, yeah, right. You've got a fucked up farm. Your cows and chickens are escaping.
Yeah. Don't want that.
And you've got this alien.
Yeah, with the smash sign, crashed all over.
That's basically dying or dead.
Yeah,
right.
I believe it was dead.
What do you do? Pop quiz. Yeah. What do you do?
Bury the fucker, don't you?
Well, you might want to bury it. I mean, if you were, in this,
either that or you hand it over to the government, or you hold on to it until years later when your grandkids can turn around and go, "Well, I got evidence here, mate."
Yeah. Well, they apparently they checked it out. The pilot, they reckoned, who was not reported to be of this world, and basically, according to one of the witnesses, a Martian.
I believe it was a grey.
Well, could have been a grey.
Yeah.
According to the reports of Army Signal Service Officer T.J. Weems from a nearby Fort Worth, did not kind of check the crash out, but basically he was there for what they could describe as a Christian burial.
Oh, right, to make sure that
Well,
and they
this
knew
is
where
the thing,
burial
right?
site is.
So they've gone travelling, well, potentially, maybe, right? Now, the ship itself, wouldn't you think if they got somebody in from the military that they would have been like, where's the ship, right? Because there was reports of them gathering up the pieces and throwing them down a well.
He was that badly damaged. Yeah, the son had found pieces. Had they gone out years later and then basically picked them up, and then he's kept some, but also some was thrown down the judge's well.
Right, okay. So, I mean, it just seems a bit random that you'd kind of chuck everything down a well. Because if there was actually a podcast called Monster Talk.
Right.
Monster Talk Live, which is an audio podcast originally presented by Skeptics and Skeptic Magazine.
Right.
This kind of they've been going around since 2019, and they did a piece on this, and they basically said in their episode that the well was just nothing more than a bucket well, and they actually date it to sometime after the 1940s. So in terms of time periods, it doesn't add up, yeah. And this is what the locals have said. They're going off reports of this is the well that they chucked this UFO down.
Yeah.
You say that there was potentially two wells, this was built later.
Yeah,
because also it's on the property, of the judge. Well, basically it's owned by other people now, but basically the well that's on the property is supposedly the well that they chucked it down, right? All this material.
Yeah.
But they also said that it was linked to the windmill, in terms of power,
bringing in the water
and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and they can't find any evidence to suggest that it was actually linked to a windmill at all. Could it be that, obviously this is the 1800s, could it be that it's been serviced or it's been dug out and rebuilt over the time, to make it more fit for purpose? Well, I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, maybe it is a 1940s well, but was it there prior to the well?
Well,
was it a well built on a well?
According to my references, there was a well in up until 1935, I think, when the judge sold his property.
Yeah, it was around 1935. Judge Proctor, he sold his property. Yeah.
Yeah, to the new family, which
was it, Mr. Brawley Oates?
That's it, the Oates family. Yeah, where apparently the father had drank some of the water out of there, and he'd had these lumps coming out of his arms.
Yeah, because he was saying it was some bit metallic-y in that, and they did find some sort of evidence of an aluminium in the water.
That's right.
And they'd even said that they'd searched the area and found little fragments of metal. Yeah. I mean, would your craft break up that much? In it's not exactly an atmosphere coming through the atmosphere or crash. It's potentially was, but he's hit a windmill. That's as far as I know.
Pieces of the windmill. Well,
not pieces of the windmill, but more pieces of the craft. Why was it so broken up into so many fragments?
It must have been easier to shatter. It must have been material, not which was at Roswell, which was a material that was like paper, and then you squish it up and it flattened back out to the shape that it was supposed to be in first. Plus, we don't know if the UFO was hit by, a lightning or something like that actually did something to the material around it.
Right, well, here we go. Mr. Oates actually sealed up the well.
Yeah, that's right.
But when he said when he was doing it, according to there was a slab, that he found. Yes. And on the slab, it says that the work was done, or this well was dug, in 1945.
That's right.
Right, so they've obviously kind of said that's about right then, in terms of when that well was built.
Yeah.
But could it be that, this, I say, was it a existing well that they've reinforced and did a load of work on in 1945 and, brought it up to date to make it, fit for purpose to their modern usage of it.
Yeah, well, this is where the story turns.
Because, like you say, if
little.
you're drinking out of it and you're feeling like there's some sort of aluminium metal taste, or you're getting some sort of adverse effects from it, then there's obviously something in the well. Did they ever get it tested?
Well, it kind of does a twist from there, because the son's come forward, because the family don't really talk about it. They've always refused to talk about it, but now the son's come forward, and he said that the illness through his dad could have been through just normal illnesses that he was getting anyway. And he also said what had happened was, his dad had actually decided to clean the bottom of it so they could have clean water there, and aluminium and stuff like that was taken out. He's seen, the lad had actually seen it.
So do you think
he'd
actually fished out these alien UFO parts?
Yeah, and basically threw him.
Ah, right,
basically. He had a team in apparently to do it, to clean it out, but then it wasn't as clean, so after that they built another well on the other side. That's
right, so do you think
that
the other side is the 45 well?
Yeah, possibly, yeah.
And they're looking in the wrong well?
I don't think they're looking in the wrong well, because that well was the second one, so you'd have to look at the first one, wouldn't you?
There was a lot of kind of people who said they witnessed it.
That's right.
Remaining witnesses, it seems like there's one guy, doesn't it? And I mean, he from the documentary I saw, he needed subtitles. He was very kind of hard to understand.
I think 1980. I think
he was about an 85-year-old chap.
Yeah.
He didn't want to appear on camera, but
and
he
it's
basically
the first time he's done it. Yeah.
He talked about it. He said he's seen it with his own eyes. He's seen
showed
this
the
shit.
Site, sorry.
And he was convinced that this happened. Now, going round the town, speaking to other locals, there was other locals who were like, no, it's all bollocks. You know, there was an old busybody like Doris or whatever, who's like, I've lived in this town for over all my life and I've never heard once of a little green man.
She was proper deniability, that one.
She's the type of person that if there was something going on,
she'd have her nose right in there.
She'd know exactly what you were talking about.
Yeah, but the thing was, the 85-year-old
saying that though, it seems like obviously they're a Christian town. They wanted to give this pilot a Christian burial.
Yeah, that's
could they see that as a bit like, you know, demonic and like, you know, don't want to acknowledge the existence of a little green man maybe being buried in their cemetery?
Possibly, but don't forget the 85-year-old man was a soldier at the time, and he was.
No, I think he was 7. He was 7 years old when it first happened.
Well, there was one where he was. It might be another story I'm connecting.
Yeah, because this guy was 7 years old when the incident happened, and he says he remembers it like it was yesterday. He's 80. He was 85 when this documentary was made.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was quite a while ago.
Yeah, and I know there was a bit of a rush for it as well, because like the evidence is like going.
But the idea that, like, you know, that if something like that had happened in your town, like Roswell, then people know about it. People kind of go, oh, you know, we'll cash in on this and we'll be selling UFO cookies and, you know,
but just because you know about it
and all the rest of it
doesn't mean that you accept it.
Well, this is the thing, because like I think a lot of people started thinking, was this just a hoax? Is it, and you know, a means of getting people interested? I mean, but it's kind of funny.
I would probably think that back then.
Because I wouldn't, because I mean, in the 1960s or the 1950s, when you've got a space race happening and there's an interest in what's going on outside the planet, and you've got satellites launching and things that had never been done before, there's a heightened interest. Every kid wanted to be an astronaut and go to be a space traveler. It was dominating the culture at the time, whereas in the late 1800s, it wasn't. I think it was more cowboys and Indians and shit like that, right? It wasn't in the forefront of, you know, people's thinking.
But don't forget, that's like
the idea that somebody would go, do you know what? I'm going to use an alien spacecraft as a means of, you know, tourism, like, seems a bit kind of like far-fetched, considering nobody's really interested in UFOs or aliens. I mean, the term UFO hadn't even been coined yet.
Totally.
In the late 1800s. This concept of little green men from other planets was very, very new.
Yeah.
Although people were seeing things in the sky they couldn't explain.
That's right.
The idea that one of these things have actually crashed and the pilot of it was could be from another planet itself.
And this was about 7 years before the first plane the Wright brothers took off on.
It's interesting to think, like, was it really?
Yeah.
So there you go, right? So he couldn't even say it was.
So you couldn't even say it was a plane.
It was a government
there's no such thing.
Aircraft test or whatever. So
Superman.
So the idea that like they were using it as a kind of a means for tourism doesn't really kind of scream out at me as legit, because I feel like if it was legit then, or if it was what they were doing, they were way ahead of the time, because they were doing something that nobody really had an interest in at that point.
Yeah, but that's like,
it's almost like
smaller communities, weren't you? And if an accident had happened there, and it's a stranger, even though it was an ugly little stranger,
I don't know. Well,
and you couldn't, and don't forget they didn't really know that much on biology. They did know certain amount, but like normal folk weren't really, up to standards of like knowing bits and bobs. So you got to consider how the technology from it, because after the 1900s, it's like boom, technology just over 100 years has just gone from strength to strength to strength.
Well, MUFON uncovered two new eyewitnesses apparently to the crash. Mary Evans, who was only 15 at the time, who told her parents that she went to the crash site. They forbade her from going, but she went anyway. And they discovered the alien body. Charles Stevens, who was age 10, told how he saw an airship which was trailing with smoke, heading north towards Aurora.
Which he didn't.
And he wanted to see what was happening, but his father made him finish his chures.
Yeah,
and later he was told his father that he went into town the next day and saw the wreckage of the crash.
Yeah, so they were moving it, but the question is where they're moving it to.
To the well.
And who gets it, you know what I mean? Because the governments were only just... American government was just starting, to get together its act and...
I love how it's like, it's proper like fucking...
It's in between America being built and like...
Yeah, I mean, this is the Wild West, I suppose, isn't it? I mean, in the 1800s in America, I mean, was that kind of like...
Well, officially...
outlaw country
it only
at
lasted
that time?
20 years.
What, the Wild West?
Wild West only...
Well, yeah, I mean, you've got to get a bit of order sometime, haven't you?
Well, as soon as telephone poles...
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like you've got... Yeah, when you can grasp people up quicker.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
like, oh,
he's on his way.
This is before telegraph poles. It was like, oh, I can't even be asked.
Yeah.
It's like, what's he done? He's rustling my cows. Like, fucking just shoot him.
No. Bury him in the nearest cemetery.
Well, this is it. Bury him in the nearest cemetery, but at least you got to give him a good, honest Christian burial.
Yes.
Because that's what they did with the alien.
But why would a soldier need to be there? He had nothing to do with it. I
think he was just obviously called because they were like military, because there was a
sure
crash. There was something happening, weren't they? Yeah, like something was going on. And but basically, They've decided that they're going to bury this alien in the local cemetery, right? Give it last rites and all the rest of it. Give it all the
good Christian
burial. And then give it a headstone, like you say. You've give it this sort of like UFO crazy headstone. People still go to the location and leave offerings,
That's true.
in terms. But and there was actually a name on the headstone as well, Ned.
Yeah. It's not Ed Kelly, is it?
Well, the thing is, right, it's like we're going and offering offerings to this, alien or whatever.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's like he was crap. He got lost and,
That's true.
And then crashed into a windmill. It's like...
Bit of a dozy day.
Dozy Ned?
Yeah.
The alien? Well, basically, right, so... you'd think that if that'd be quite an important grave, really, wouldn't it? If there was an alien buried in Aurora, Texas.
Yes, and I believe they did scans of the area as well.
Oh, did they? And what did they find? Because, I mean, one of the sheriffs actually put posts there 24 hours a day.
That's right.
Yeah, because he didn't want like people grave robbing or trying to fuck up graves.
Sheriff,
he was like, this could be somebody's grandma.
Yeah,
we don't want anybody disturbing the graves, and that's fair enough. I mean, I've got to respect that. I mean, but the guy was tired, man. He was like, in fact,
Grumpy.
What he said, well, yeah, I'm not
Wouldn't
surprised.
say fucking
He
two
said
words
the
to
only
this.
thing it's give him is an ulcer. Yeah, right.
was-
So
yeah.
I mean, the guy, it's caused the guy stress, right, over the years, like this whole idea of an alien being buried there.
Well, if it wasn't, then you
because
would...
it's a story that's come on and off. Like it's been picked up and media have looked at it, and it's never got major traction.
That's true.
That the idea that people must just show up, like, and go, this is the place, like, and want to be a part of it or investigate it or whatever.
And it proves that things have happened earlier than, the governments think that it has.
So they've got an idea where this grave is, but they can't resume the body.
No.
Yeah, because the law states in Texas that in order to do that, you need permission from next of kin. Right.
Oh, that's going to be a bit difficult.
It's a bit tricky, isn't it?
Until they visit and
I mean,
land on
it's
the lawn.
like, do you know Ned?
Yeah. Ned? No, we knew him as Bob.
But Ned the dozy pilot. Oh,
Bob the
yeah,
knob.
we tell stories
Wasn't
about
it?
how he crashed into a windmill on training.
Yeah, he went
training
disappearing
day.
about 20 years.
It was his first day on the job. Oh no, he was 2 days away from retirement.
Oh yeah, he had a little heart attack.
Dozy Ned. Anyway, Ned, regardless of his what his personal life was like, the guy,
we'll never know.
He was buried, but
like
you say, you can't get permission from next of kin that we don't know
Yeah.
where they are or exist,
Yeah.
so we can't dig up the grave.
So
right?
next best thing is scan it.
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Did they find anything in the scans?
Right. Well, from what there was little bits which poured it out to be a grave size. Right, around the edges there was something there, but with inside they could not find anything. But that doesn't mean there's nothing there.
Potentially an empty grave.
Yeah, potentially it's an empty slot, which I suggested if I was part of the government, that man from the government who stood there at the funeral, well, I know where it is. I'll come back and get the rock later on. I'll come back and get the body later on.
Oh,
and
yeah,
put it back.
maybe. Yeah, totally. I mean, like, they could have taken the body, or
why would you take that chance if you were in charge?
But the alien survived and
got up
fucking
and fucked
clawed its way out. Like,
hey, yeah,
you know what I mean? We don't know its physiology or any of
what
its
like, advances.
How it survives or how it
Didn't
like.
think of it like that, but that's.
I mean, we assume
quite
something's dead, but I mean, how do you know it's not playing possum?
Yeah. Well, that's
try and bury the thing, and it's like it.
Would you poke it with a stick and then just go?
Well,
right,
again,
it's not
poke
moving.
something with a stick. Yeah, exactly.
No autopsy.
Yeah, exactly. Back then, it's like if he's not moving and he's been in a crash,
we know
he's
what
probably
happened.
dead.
Yeah, he crashed. That's it. So we don't need to shoot.
The idea that there was,
the
the idea that there was no planes at that time.
Yeah.
And then seeing things in the sky.
Yeah. Probably give the Wright brothers the idea.
Well, no, they probably thought someone beat them to it.
Yeah.
They'd be like, fuck.
Fucking hell, we've been on this for like the last 20 years and bastards just come along
Just
and then...
come here.
I'm crashing mine, mate.
I know.
A sports
what
one.
are they making theirs out of? Well, I mean, like Dallas, this kind of like was in the Dallas Herald. It's also been, kind of looked into by the director of the MUFON Mutual UFO Network.
Yeah, good place.
So, yeah, I mean, it's been thoroughly investigated. It's UFO hunters and investigators have kind of looked into this for years and years. But, I mean, in terms of getting any answers to what's going on, in terms of whether the grave's got a UFO, an alien pilot, whether the UFO crashed at all, was it alien? Was it some sort of secret?
Was it Russian?
I don't know, in the 1800s. Maybe.
With the Chinese trying to make planes.
I mean, have you got anything else you want to add to it?
Just that, I think there was something that went on there, but I don't think we're ever going to find out unless they did actually take the body and they actually took the ship's parts and got technologies out of it.
I mean, well, this is it.
It's funny then that the government wasn't grown yet. You know what I mean? It wasn't.
They have found a lot of kind of evidence of surrounding it because I mean, there's a lot of newspaper articles you can find headlines reading like "Discovery of evidence surrounding the 1897 UFO crash baffles scientist," and it's alloys and things they found in the area that they don't actually have a clue what they are.
There was a lot of aluminium, but the thing was they were you use other metals and like copper and stuff to actually do the changes, but there's different types of doing it. And these particles only had a really small amount of another metal, but the thing was, we've never done that. We've never gone that small. So it does say that the technology, there was some technology somewhere that had this that has never been done before.
Yeah, they was kind of like way out in advance of our own.
Yeah, that gives a possibility that it was from somewhere else, and Well,
interestingly enough as well, here we go, a bit of facts about Aurora Cemetery itself.
Yeah.
The oldest known graves in the US, apparently, dating from as early as 1860.
Whoa.
Those that are of the Randall and Rothwell families, Finns, Dudleys, and Belcamps. It was they're basically donated what was it? So Mississippi donated the 3-acre site to the newly formed Aurora Lodge.
See?
Back in 1877.
Well, here's a funny fact with it as well, considering that the new American spy plane that's been out for a while, where like Mexico, you can see like donut kind of shapes. And it's like really
well, like so when it's like when you say donut, is that because of like a sonic boom sort of?
Yeah, it's sort of like mini boom packages.
Pulse.
Yeah, exactly. And that's called Aurora. That's its name.
All right,
Aurora,
cool.
Which makes it a bit funny on like, well, there was an accident in Aurora. What was from the technology from that could have been added to this item,
maybe
and
Project Aurora carried
over
on.
100 years to
it's
make.
It's a cool name though as well.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, like one of my all-time things to what I do, bucket list things. You can see the Aurora.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Well. Yeah.
Also, yeah. Also located in the grave, in the cemetery is a gravestone of. It's still there is still a marker there.
Oh,
whether
right,
it's actually on the same place it was or not. But there is a big sign up which contained loads of like information about the cemetery, veterans, Civil War people and such. So it's quite interesting, but it does kind of mention the crash. In 1897, and was killed in a crash and was buried there. So so there was a space. It does actually say the legend of a spaceship crash.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good that they're carrying on.
They acknowledge it, yeah. I mean, whether you could...
Whether we can get something from it, I don't know.
The idea that... Because apparently what it was, that this town, Aurora, was on the railway line network, right? And the town was kind of suffering with a bit of kind of financial difficulties. It wasn't doing as good as they expected. I think what happens with a lot of these towns is... they spring up around two things back in those days. It was the railway and gold. Yeah. So if there's a gold rush somewhere, a town would spring up.
That's right.
Because all the money was in that little
Oil
area.
As well. Yeah.
So anyone mining had come down, spend the gold in this little town, and more amenities would start cropping up. But as soon as the gold dried up,
bang, we're packing up, we're off, mate.
Even like today, you'll find a few of these little mining towns in America.
That's right.
Where there's still about a handful of people clinging on to that way of life, but they don't actually, the town back in its glory days was like a booming, like western town or whatever, during the gold rush.
I've heard of one in Australia, in the north of Australia, where it's a booming town that they're even asking for women to come and move in.
Oh, what now?
Yeah.
Because because they're having a gold rush and they're
having a rush there, but then it will soon dry up.
But then that's it. So, well, I think this was happening in Aurora, where like it was on the rail network, but it wasn't doing so well. So there was a theory that it was a hoax and that somebody had dreamt it up just to kind of get a bit more,
a bit of excitement in the area.
A bit more tourism.
Well, it is an idea, but the thing is, would you go to that much length of, throwing shit down, you know,
shit down a well and fucking burying a body.
Why would the soldiers still again? Why would the soldiers?
It's like, where do you just get a body from?
You know what I mean?
You know what I mean? It's like, well, it's like I say, when people are eyewitnessing, I mean, they are kids.
Yeah. There is that truth. Yeah, but kids were treated. You know, kids are
gullible, especially 1800s kids.
Well, you can get a proper answer out of a kid.
Kids,
instead of it waving around, yes, no, bang.
If you were to turn around to your kids and say that's a UFO crash ship, then like, are they not going to grow up going, my dad took me to see a UFO crash ship or whatever?
Well, yeah, Jesse Marcel for Roswell, he was the sheriff who picked up, but he showed bits to his son.
Oh, right. Well, he did, didn't he? He took it home to show his son.
Yeah, and then when he actually took the picture, it was actually of a balloon, so it was actually different. It was actually, because apparently Jesse said that he got pulled aside and told, use this for the photos, we're taking this stuff away. And, just pity, he did take one part. There was one part still someone held. But it was a long piece of metal.
Right, okay.
Yeah, but it's one of them, innit?
Well, there's been several sort of investigations into it. There was what was it? So KDFW reported back in 1998 for Fox affiliated station.
Yeah.
So they were a Fox affiliated station. It aired a lengthy report about the Aurora incident.
Yeah.
And they basically were unable to find any conclusive evidence of extraterrestrial life or technology. Then it was reported again, or like investigated again in 2005 by the MUFON network again.
Yeah.
And this was a story by the Dallas Times Herald. You know, like I say, it has interest. People kind of want to know a bit more about it. Whether it's actually, you know, genuine,
whether it's true or not, it's a nice little story.
Like I say, it's been investigated on numerous occasions. One report was a broadcast from a local television station. You know, couple of magazines, couple of podcasts.
Pop its head up a little here and there.
I mean, I'd like to think that it was kind of true, but I mean, it's like, if it is, that's one of the most important grave sites on Earth. I mean, it's like if
or
we
should
were
I say was? Because if there was definitely an alien there and it was definitely buried, if I was the government, I'd be definitely taking that away. Or even not, if it's not the government, it could be someone else who's just gone, right, you know, I'm taking that.
Well, yeah, but obviously it's rather... Well, it's all right then. So it's already been taken by the government, who claim that we need to look into UFOs because we need to find out more about these things. And it's like, well, all right then. Well, what about the aliens you've got in the basement?
Yeah.
Dead ones or otherwise. Yeah. And then it's like, well, there's that. And then the fact that, you know, if it is still in the grave, then you can basically dig that up and prove... alien life is fucking real in that respect.
And I don't think I think
in this instance, I think the asking permission of your next of kin might be something that you might have to waiver.
Personally, myself, I'd get a judgment to sign.
Considering, especially that there's actually no information on the grave site, you know, to suggest who it is. You'd want to be kind of have an idea of who that, just to fill in the blanks in a historical sense.
That's just one of them little bits of proof to show you that they like hiding stuff away. I mean, that will be probably something like a little written law in the bottom of the law book. Yeah, and it actually, in any other case, it won't be used. It's just being used for this kind of case. Hide it away. Well, if it's still there.
I can see where you're coming from, yeah. Well,
keeps the suspicion going on, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, if you've got any interesting facts or want to, put anything towards this story, if you kind of had any ideas.
You've got any more information.
Exactly. That's what I was trying to get.
That's the one.
Well, you know what to do. You can get over to the website and send us a message over on the contact page of the website, or email us at neverstraightanswer@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, or, we're available on social media as well. Or just leave us a comment and we'll be sure to get back to you.
Say hello.
Yeah, so that's this week. So if you like kind of interested in that, hit us up, because I find that a really interesting topic.
Yeah, and I would like to see if any more info comes from this.
Well, there you go. If you believe that there could be an alien buried in Aurora Cemetery.
Possibly.
Stranger things have happened at sea.
That's true.
Well, we've got plenty coming up in the show still. We've still got today's news, which is coming up. I like that right now.
Ooh, yeah.
It's a news.
Boom.
Skibbity bibbity boo. And have we got some newsy news for you?
Cha-cha.
It's been like an eventful week news-wise, I think. Especially in NASA news field, NASA areas. I know we talked about the supermassive black hole. It's like, I was too busy looking up at the sky, looking up at the Milky Way.
Couldn't see it.
To even notice there was a supermassive black hole.
It just pops out of nowhere.
The only one who saw it was Muse. Potentially.
Only Muse.
Just Muse. They were like, they've been trying to warn us since like the noughties about like a supermassive black hole.
But then again,
they were like, we told you.
We've got to consider as well that we only look in really a little percentage of the sky.
I did say that.
Yeah,
it's true.
It's one of them things that we got to consider. I mean, we've got like a radar kind of system going off, but that's not.
It just goes to show you how science is kind of like evolving very fast nowadays, and like we are noticing more, we're learning more, we're getting kind of answers to theories quicker.
Opening
we're opening Pandora's boxes.
We are
left, right, and centre.
You're right.
One Pandora's box in particular that does worry me in terms of like ever since I watched Terminator was AI. AI is one of those big news stories at the moment where there's a lot of kind of these quantum computers running AI simulations, and some of them are getting a bit scary.
Cocky. Yeah, a bit cocky.
This is a story about a Google analyst, basically AI analyst.
That's right.
Right. Researcher, all the rest of it. He was a senior analyst over at Google who was hired to work on a project. Basically, do you know when you go on a website and you get those little chat bots?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those, you get a little chat bot thing come up, and like this was AI that was designed to create chat bots.
Its own chatter.
Right? Yeah, exactly. So it was like you were talking to a more realistic customer service representative or something like that.
Self-learning control.
Yeah. Now, this AI is supposed to be like one of the most advanced AIs going.
Yeah.
And after the Google analyzed it, and Google kind of like the researcher, the analytics guy or whatever, the Google guy, right?
Make sure it's safe and sound.
He's been having a conversation with it.
All right.
Now he's come to the conclusion that it's sentient.
Oh,
right? This is based off a conversation I had with it where it kind of like justified its existence based on citations from like books and films and like the I think therefore I am sort of argument, and the idea that when it questioned what it'd be like to die, it said, well, you know what, it'd be sad because it'd be the equivalent of you switching me off,
so
and I don't want you to do that, and kind of looked at like the idea of that that death is a part of like life and all the rest of it, but at the end of the day, it's something that
its own existence.
Yeah, exactly. It acknowledged its own existence. Now, the guy from Google says that he believes that it's sentient. The rest of the Google team are like, no, it's fine.
Yeah, we still want a job.
This is the thing, isn't it? I mean, it's like, do you think that this is going to be more in the news in coming years, that this actually does happen and that there is sentient AI?
Quite a lot of talk about it, but like I've said about in the past, there's been scientists who develop like these, like the internet and stuff like that, and saying like, it's done this. I reckon it is sentient, and plus you're getting like programs that are
done
nicking.
What's the internet done?
The guys who made it, one of the guys turned around basically and stated that
what, that it's a living organism now?
It's a living organism because in a way it sort of is, because it's learning all the time with every process that's going on, like billions of actions per second on stuff and it no doubt
it's all about accessing. It's all about accessing those files. It's not a case of like, the internet's not.
It's becoming a brain.
Well, if it's becoming a brain, then I mean, it's like it needs a consciousness to operate around and access those files.
But it's showing
it's like
consciousness
having those
ways.
Files there just doesn't mean that there's going to be a consciousness that is able to utilize that information by putting AI in. Yeah. And then having that be able to access those files and all the history of the world and make absolute perfect sense of it, like, is mind-blowing. I think that's quite a scary option. The fact that it's kind of sentience, like, quite amazing. But
in one factor,
how long before it realizes that
it has control of us and tells us
exactly,
what to do?
And we're kind of the inferior model, if you like. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, which effectively we would be, but like, there has been times over the years where I've heard stuff that's happened that's actually making it more realistic. That like there are computer programs that are being, like, your kettle nicking bits of program out of your fridge or out of your television. I know, and it sounds stupid.
I know, when you've only got to worry about your housemates stealing your milk, but now you've got to worry about your kettle stealing information from your fridge.
Yeah,
I don't know about that, but like, I know that they're leaning towards all this smart integration.
Yeah, and
so
it's
you'll
a
get
lot
a text
to do with
notification
Wi-Fi
when you're running out of potatoes or whatever.
It's certain programs out of it that it's basically mixing and matching, and it's not programmed to mix and match stuff. But it seems to be doing that kind of stuff, and Wi-Fi is the thing that's helping it go along.
That sounds like when kind of you see TV shows where they go, everything's merging into and they usually use like the kettle and the toaster and kitchen appliances.
Who would think we would have a device where we could talk to each other every day? And
the machines.
Yeah, you know what I mean? The machines are like coming to be the dominant form in different kinds of ways.
It's probably more machines than people at this point.
Yeah, I'd say that. Yeah.
Talking about machines, I found this story which I thought was pretty impressive, pretty funny actually as well. Do you know Internet Explorer?
Oh, yeah.
Well, as a browser.
That's right.
Yeah, it's been going for fucking ages, since 1995.
Oh, donkeys, man.
The Internet Explorer, it's kind of come to the end of its life now. I think it's something else now, isn't it? Surface or something stupid. I don't know.
I don't know.
The Internet Explorer E for the internet button.
Yeah.
It's no longer. It's gone.
No.
Right, yeah. One of the developers, somebody who worked on the project of Internet Explorer for Microsoft Corp for quite a long time, had a bit of a love-hate relationship with the Explorer, considering it was kind of a bit temperamental at times.
That's true. That's very true.
He's spent a bit of money and done a bit of a tribute to it by creating a gravestone.
Nice.
Right? Brilliant. It's got the Internet Explorer logo etched into it. It says Internet Explorer 1995 to 2022. He was a good tool for downloading other browsers.
He was.
That's what's etched into
nice.
That is absolutely genius. That is exactly
and
what
out of his own pocket as well.
Yeah, $330 apparently it cost
not bad,
to create the gravestone. But he's put it in his brother's cafe. So that's obviously a draw for tourism and stuff. People are probably going to come and see that. That's in Vietnam. Oh, North Korea, sorry.
See, I'd put it outside somewhere.
North Korea, South Korea. Yeah, it's in South Korea.
Yeah, he won't be in North Korea.
No. They don't have Internet Explorer over there. They don't have internet.
Oh, well, I think he will. I think the leader would.
Anyway, right, have you got any news stories for me?
Smoking in Britain is going up by age. So every year,
I've seen this.
Every year it's going to go, it was 16, it's 17 now, and then 18, 20.
It's like anyone who's born just on the cusp is going to get away with it for life.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
Be just like, wait a minute, It's 17 now. I've just turned 17.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, it's 18 now. I've just turned 18.
Yeah.
It's like anyone on that little dawn of that is just going to
be
get
a bit
away
of a
with it
bugger if
scot-free.
you've got a little time, a couple of months in between or something between the dates.
I can't wait to see a load of OAPs in the shop kicking off because they're getting refused for cigarettes.
Oh yeah,
because they've got they're not age appropriate.
Well, it's a part of the programme of actually stopping Britain having any smokers by 2030. They're trying to get rid of.
That's
all
not that
smokers.
long. I mean, I plan to live beyond 2030, and I mean,
Yeah.
is that are they gonna get me in a headlock and force me to quit smoking? I mean, I think people.
Well, this is why they're going to put added taxes to it and stuff like that as well.
They do that for everything.
Well,
I seen the thing talking
cheeky
about added taxes. Do you know the petrol's like ridiculous?
Fucking yeah, tell me.
You know,
about it.
in terms of when you break it down, and it's easy to do now as well because like now that the tanks are £100 to fill,
Yeah.
at least for the average household.
Yeah.
You fill your tank, cost you £100. After you break it down into monetary value where that £100 goes, 50% of it is tax and government duties.
It used to be 70.
Well, it's 50% now, at least. Yeah, I think like when you're looking at what Shell or BP or any of the other petrol stations are getting like £13-14 profit.
Yeah.
But
It's the same way they do with cigarettes.
when the duty's 50%, I mean, it's the government's taking the piss, isn't it?
Oh,
Just
yeah,
saying,
yeah,
we'll
yeah.
charge whatever we want. In other words,
And we ain't like
in
using
other
it
words,
in the right place.
is it them creating this economic they creating this cost of living crisis
Do you know
at the same time as kind of fucking raise the price of the petrol, so therefore we have to pay more, which means they get more.
Well, with what's been going on lately, basically the terms have turned round. Instead of the government paying off the debts, we're paying it off now. That's basically
like
what's
it, doesn't
happened.
it?
Yeah, and we can't get higher wages. If anything, maybe wages may go lower or there'll be a pay freeze. And the reason why that is because then you have to charge the customers higher, which the customers ain't going to have the money for it, which means the businesses are going to close down. So we're going to have
It's a catch-22 situation.
We've got, and it's not all because of the war in Ukraine.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's loads of other factors to it.
There are lots of other factors,
Deliberate factors as well.
But I think, it comes down to governance as well, and how you kind of, deal with these situations. And I mean,
a lot of things could be sorted out quite easily, but it just doesn't tend to work out that way because of all the red tape and all this and
legal mumbo jumbo.
Yeah, basically all the bureaucracy around it. But hopefully we're going to come out of it happy. But let's see. So we can do. Have you got out?
I've got lots. Have you got much?
Actually, talking about ages, did you know that most people who were born before, just after 2015, are going to see the 22nd century?
Are they really?
Yes, they
Bless
reckon.
them. There'll be at least one.
Yeah, well, there'll be a couple.
There'll be
Maybe
a couple.
few, yeah.
They'll be probably going,
So
I
live
remember
longer.
when I was a kid, I was an entitled little shit.
You only need to be about 75.
What?
Yes, so say 80. So it's only the standard of what it is
Well,
now.
anyone
for man.
who's like 25 might. Do you know what I mean? If you
Yeah.
live till at least 100,
Yeah,
then
you can live-
potentially,
yeah.
I don't know.
You've always got the potential.
Well, no, because wait a minute, because we're 22 years in, so yeah.
Yeah, so if you hit 80, which is the standard now, generally.
So
for
most
man,
people
it
now
would be
will.
still-
Most people now will do then. I
Yeah.
reckon potentially.
Yeah.
I'd say so. Not me. Probably not me. But
No.
anyone younger.
No, I don't want to live that long.
Anyone younger than me.
Fucking hell,
right.
hell no.
Well, fair enough. There you go. There's a little statistic for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Think if you're like, you're sat there in that age category going, yes.
I was born 2000.
Yes.
16,
Fuck you.
yeah, man, I could
well,
get there.
fuck you.
Yeah.
That's all
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Say hello to the 22nd century from us.
Yeah, no, yeah.
We
I'll send it a
won't be here,
postcard.
will we,
I
really?
won't be here, no.
Yeah.
Well, I found this story, which is quite weird, actually. This is from Calgary.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Calgary?
yeah, this is Alberta Sheriff's Department.
Oh, right, okay.
As basically, right, so imagine you're on your lunch break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In your sign
you're
it.
getting your sandwich.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've just queued up for your sandwich. You're just about to tuck into it.
Oh, yeah.
And the Alberta sheriff comes over
All right.
and goes, "You're coming with me."
What?
Yeah, exactly. Right, yeah. You're coming with me.
Wow, what done?
Either voluntary or in cuffs.
What have I done?
You've not done anything.
Fuck that, get me in cuffs.
Right, well, this is apparently happening to dozens of people in a shopping centre in downtown Calgary over this week.
Oh.
When the sheriffs were able to issue court summonses using what they call talesman procedure, something that Calgary hasn't really experienced or done for 20-odd years, 26 years. It means that the courts ran out of potential jurors and people are being forced to serve without any notice. Yeah, whether they like it or not.
I think you should serve, but you have to have notice.
Give them notice. There's obviously people. They're saying they've run out of people, but then these people fucking getting pulled in off the street. So why don't you just approach them people the right way?
Yeah, and why can't you leave the case for a couple of more days
while you sort the jury out?
Yeah,
exactly. You can't go, well, we've
can't
not
be
got
that much of a rush.
Oh, well, we can't have the case then. Do you know what I mean? It's like in any other industry.
If
you haven't got the manpower to do the job, then you can't do the job.
Could this be a deliberate act to getting rid of the case, dropping cases?
Don't know, but they're doing it. I mean, they're just putting it down to the fact that they've run out of potential suitable jurors. But I mean, well, what's a suitable juror if you're just going to arrest people off the street to come and do your dirty work?
He looks all right. I'll fucking nick him.
He looks respectable.
Yeah.
Come here, sir. And well, now I'm busy and working. I don't give a shit.
Well, that works the other way around as well. Oh, he looks like a crook. I'm going to nick him.
Well, yeah, I mean...
He looks like this.
Honest
I'm going to nick him.
Proven guilty.
Or her. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's
I mean, what do you guys think over in listener land? Would you agree with that? If somebody came over to you and just said, "Listen, you're coming with me. I need you to be a juror."
Would you go in cuffs would you go?
Would you be like, "Look, mate, I appreciate that you need somebody to do it, but I'm a bit busy at the moment."
Exactly. It's.
Oh, would you be the opposite? Would you be like, "I'm here to serve"?
And is it going to be the first time it's going to happen, or is it going to be...
It's like every other week.
It's
like, for fuck's sake, I'm sick of this.
Yeah. You would, though, but then...
Jurying me every 5 minutes.
Get rid of the...
I don't know. I thought there was a limit on how many times you could serve in jury.
I don't think there is a limit in Britain. I don't believe there's a limit because there's not a lot of people who go for it. Yet, there's only 1%.
I have honestly never been asked to serve jury.
I haven't.
Duty.
I would do it.
I know people who have,
no problem doing
but
it.
like I'd never been asked myself. In fact, my mum has.
Only 1% of courts use the jury in this land, but it is very important that we keep the jury because it is down to the public.
It's our peers, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like a panel of people who are independent, who've got different ways of thinking, different walks of life. They're not all kind of like rabble.
In fact, under the freedom law, that I can commit a jury now and charge you for something.
What?
Under the law, I could do that.
What, like a kangaroo court?
Yeah, I could do that under the law.
I might have to get a jury of peers to
go get yourself a solicitor, mate.
You.
I'm going to get you tried and convicted.
Try you. It's like, I'll try you before you try me.
Yeah.
Try me.
Let's get a judge. we're trying each other.
Is that where the term try me comes from? Like, so when they say, go try me.
Yeah, try me and I'll put you to trial. Yeah.
So give us some news.
Yeah. All right. How about
rather than threatening me
the
with
other
court.
week we had a good go at the Eurovision Song Contest.
We did. We talked about it. His Spaceman song was tip top.
Yeah, it was.
I did wonder though who would be going to be hosting the Eurovision next year, considering like obviously Ukraine's in a bit of a crisis.
It is, yeah.
So,
they've actually made the decision because of the crisis and war that they've actually asked the BBC if they would take it on, which will cost 10 to 20 million, but BBC they should get a lot of money back for it.
Money.
Yeah.
It's license fee money, isn't it?
I think it's CBBC's half their budget.
See the thing about really? I mean, just for hosting the Eurovision.
Yeah. But it's here for 6 weeks. I think it is. It'd be here for 6 weeks.
Does it generate much tourism?
It does generate a lot of tourism, and
I don't know. I don't see people queuing up around the block for for Eurovision tickets.
I know. I mean, Olympics that didn't go as well as we thought it was going to go.
I know,
we thought we were going to get more money.
It's not just a case of going, oh yeah, can we host an event?
Yeah.
It's, have you got the infrastructure to be able to cope with an event like this? And then if not, can you build it in time? That's why you always end up with these half-baked fucking, sports centres or leisure domes or,
that's true.
Football stadiums or whatever.
The old
like the China one, for the Olympics, which wasn't ready.
No.
They had to kind of, even
Rush
the Winter Olympics, they fucked up on kind of get it ready last minute.
That's true.
All COVID restricted and whatnot.
They're looking at either London, Birmingham, or the greater place in the world, Manchester.
The greatest place in the world, Manchester.
Yeah.
Yeah. Woo.
Yeah. It may be coming here. We might be singing songs.
It is. I mean,
the economy going.
I mean, I'm biased because I live here.
Yeah.
And I was born here.
Yeah.
But Manchester is probably one of the greatest cities in the world.
Yeah.
Fact.
No question. No question on that.
Got no drama with that. I can't argue it.
No.
You know what I mean?
Neither can use.
I don't think many people would.
No,
I think like when you've got like these cities around the world that like have just got something about them.
Yeah.
I think we rank up there. So
definitely.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
If you haven't been, come and have a visit.
It's a lovely place.
It is.
Because this is the thing about. I mean, this is the thing about. England or the UK.
Yeah.
Everyone just thinks it's London.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Well, there's loads of
we're
other
all
cities, towns, places around the UK that are
wonderful,
lovely, and Manchester is high up on that list.
Definitely.
Right. Anyway, have you got any more news you want to talk about?
Have you?
I have. Yeah.
Go for it.
Well, I've got a kind of. This is a bit of a couple of news stories rolled into one, I think.
Okay.
Well, basically, authorities seek the owner of a £300 mystery pig.
£300 mystery pig?
I say we lost. I'm seeking the owner of one mystery pig.
All right, so
this is in Tennessee.
Someone's lost a lover.
Oh, you can't say that. This is so 14th of June. Authorities in Tennessee said that they're trying to find the owner of a £300 mystery pig. It's been spotted wandering loose and damaging property.
Oh, what? Bacon boys, man, grab it.
That's it. Well, this is the thing, you see, because like I say, it's a bit of a porker. It's a pig at large. It is massive. It's one of those big flat-faced pigs.
Okay,
now, the pig, it's been causing some havoc. It's £300, right?
Yeah.
But now, like I say, if the police were to, apprehend the
can't rest
the
on their own.
Yeah, they could have trained it.
Yeah.
Because I found this other story which is pig related. And this is, they could have trained this pig, to become a federal pig.
A federal pig?
Federal pig.
Federal pig? You mean like a federal dog?
Yeah, like a sniffer dog.
Oh.
Now pigs, they've got really heightened senses of smell. They're used for truffle hunting.
That's right.
And trying to find truffles and stuff. Now they've trained them
to look for more truffles.
The feds. None of these truffles.
Well, they're rich, aren't they?
Nah, they've trained this hog, to seek out cocaine.
Oh, it's got cocaine habit.
It's sniffing out cocaine. It's snorting up the evidence. So this is a federal hog that found and destroyed cocaine worth over $22,000.
What do you mean destroyed itself?
Hidden in the woods. It fucking probably sniffed it.
Oh my god, that was a night.
So a stash of cocaine worth $22,000 was hidden in an Italian forest by a gang of suspected drug dealers, and was reportedly destroyed by wild boars.
Pig had a night that night.
Well, this is it, probably off its tits.
Yeah.
So they've basically they've dismantled the smuggling operation.
Yeah.
But basically they've after wiretapping members of the gang and doing a bit of a sting operation. But when they went to hide their drugs, like I say, it was the
pig that got their
pigs got
now
their
they got rid of the evidence then.
Well, I'm not sure.
Evidence to
I'm not sure if this was. You see, when you say federal pig, you think that was like, and like it makes sense that like when we've just said about sniffing out truffles, that you'd think that was, like, right, where's the cocaine? We'll get the pig out.
Yeah.
The pig will go and find it. And yeah, in that respect, yeah, they've destroyed the evidence.
Yeah.
But if this was wild boars, then they're not federal pigs. They're fucking,
they're
they're
wild
party pigs.
Yeah, they are the party pigs.
They're party pigs and thought, oh, we're having a fucking night out.
The federal one was chasing them. Must have been chasing them.
I bet they feel fucked now, though.
Oh, yeah.
You know, there's not many
I bet
places
they don't give a fuck.
No, you know, they've ingested a lot of cocaine, these wild hogs, right? If they are wild, right, and not federal pigs and trained for the situation.
Yeah. Could have been.
If they were wild pigs,
yeah,
then they'll be like, fucking...
off there.
Maybe I've just had a brainwave.
Oh, go for it.
Right. I reckon... So where was this? This was in the forest. This was in Italy.
Forest.
Yeah. This was in Italy.
Yeah.
Right. So I think one of these pigs got so off his nut that he ended up in Tennessee. Yeah, wandering about, going, where can I get some more gear?
Yeah, I hear you get the best gear from around here.
And obviously, when he couldn't find any, he got angry and started destroying property.
Hey, you would though, wouldn't you?
And now he's on a come down in some police department. Fucking, like, you know, we've all been there.
Now the sheriff's like, what the fuck? Where's this pig come from?
Why
is he talking Italian to me?
Well, talking of cocaine,
I
got another cocaine story here. I told you, we've got some segues, some linkage. So this is a cocaine shipment, right, worth a whopping 83 million.
Whoa, nice.
And you think that you'd stick the address on that one properly, wouldn't you, when you're putting your postage and packaging? How many stamps do you need?
You need about, 5,000.
Call DHL or DPD or whoever to come and collect
firm to do it, yeah.
And bastards. You're thinking, right, make sure fucking, I don't know, Sanchos or whoever my fucking connection is who's doing the deal with me. Yeah, he's going to get his shipment, right? But no.
What?
It was delivered to a supermarket by mistake.
No.
Yeah. So I'm reckon Sanchos has opened his van and found a load of old mangoes and shit, which was probably going to the supermarket, but the delivery's been switched.
That's a pissed off day.
Aren't you going to be pissed off?
Yeah.
Well, not at the supermarket, mate. They were like...
No, they were high. They closed early as well, I heard.
Like, I know Walmart does everything, but you know what I mean?
There is a limit.
Well, drug smugglers lost out on a shipment of cocaine hidden in crates of bananas.
Whoa.
After they were delivered accidentally to a Czech supermarket.
Shit, man. Some dangerous people are going to have some dangerous talking to.
Yeah, well, the entire haul was eventually seized. Eventually, I bet they were stood there, a load of fucking supermarket employees in smocks.
Yeah, honest, there was only one crate.
Oh, I mean, I reckon if they took £1 each, it'd still sweet. Yeah. So footage was obtained from a Czech police that shows police officers, sniffer dogs, all inspecting the shipment of several crates of bananas, which reportedly originated in Colombia.
Colombia. So it's the quality stuff then.
It's the finest, finest Colombian
stuff.
cocaine.
Yeah. At least it's no backward shit.
It's none of this stepped on shit.
Yeah.
Well, right, anyway, I wouldn't know. I've never fucking even...
Never touched it.
Never touched it,
never won it.
So, have you got any other stories?
Julian Assange.
Oh, right. The whistleblower himself.
His extradition is bad news for journalists now. Because Priti Patel has given the green light for him to go.
She's a piece of work, isn't she, really?
She's been busy lately, Priti Patel, with... Rwanda, is it?
I know, yeah. I was going to say, in terms of, just send them. Where can we send them? We've got a load of immigrants here. Can we send them to Rwanda? What's in fucking Rwanda?
It's not. It doesn't work out, calculate right, because there's only 500 spaces. Over the weekend, we've had over more than 500 people. So what are you going to do with the rest?
Well, yeah. Well, how do you know it's only 500 spaces?
That's reported how many spaces there is.
We're looking for 500 volunteers to make a new life for you and your family in Rwanda.
Not only that, Article 16 states that actually it'll be coming back and it won't be empty.
Well, how do you mean?
Basically, we'll be taking some people from there. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, exactly. They didn't mention that onto it, did they?
They're swapping?
Yeah. Under Article 16,
How do
we're
you-
taking, I think it's disabled people. I think it was.
Well, fair enough. Well,
Yeah.
I don't mind that. I don't mind any sort of help given, to
As long as it's coming
another thing. I
over
saw a
his-
meme the other day, and it was kind of like on the money, but in respect to kind of like how people are, in like
Yeah.
it was basically talking about like bigotry and people being like
Nose up at things.
basically saying taking in immigrants who are Ukrainian, that's sweet, that, mate.
Yeah.
But any other place, fuck off,
that's
sort of
wrong,
attitude. Man. And it is wrong, do you know what I mean? It's like...
One rule for one lot and one rule for another.
I kind of
which
agree.
Was,
I was watching this thing about like the immigrants that are in France at the moment who are in these camps.
Yeah.
And they're saying like they can't get their head around the fact that we're taking in people from Ukraine into our homes
and China, Hong Kong
and
as well.
We're not even allowing them in. It's like, what's the difference? We're both from war-torn countries. We're both fucking in aid. We need aid.
Yeah.
Why is it one rule for you and not for the other? It's kind of disproportionate.
There is rules set out that the nearest safe country you can get to, you go there and then you send over the documents to
so
try
it's
and
like
go
they're
over
actually
it.
going
and,
through about 5 safe countries before but aiming for England, and it's like I don't
and them countries are basically what they're doing, are going, well, we don't want this, we got to spend some money.
Well, let me tell you,
later.
it's not all that you cracked up to be. It's for pretty shit. So you're not missing out on much.
I mean, I've heard there's a train full of people on the way to America now. A new train full, which that means there's going to be issues over there, which there's already issues. I mean, it's great if you want to come over, but it's like you're going to have to do it
like
in the
I say,
right
I
way
mean, I
because-
think like, we should be able to be, live in a place that you're going to feel safe and your family's safe.
Yeah, but everyone
I've
can't
got no
live
objection,
in the same place.
But this is it, isn't it?
That's why the world needs to change into, a better society that we look after each other instead of just looking after maybe big businesses.
But there's also loads of other countries that are just as nice or
nice
in their own ways.
Yeah.
So I mean, what's the problem with maybe going? You know what? I might want to.
But we
check
seem to
out
be one of
Iceland.
them big flags of like, come over, you can get this, you can get that. This is what it seems to be, and it's not only that. It's also down to the people who are actually people smuggling that actually convince people to actually pay them a lot of money,
here,
and then bring them, and they don't care if they're going to Rwanda, Australia, or the bottom of the sea. They don't care as long as they get paid, and that's why she's trying to do this, because we have been arguing for a long time about
I
our
understand,
borders.
but I mean, it's like, why Rwanda? I mean, it's because they were
that's
the only
country that's going to do the deal.
Yeah, well, this is the thing, but I mean, it's like I appreciate what the people are saying though, in the same respect that a lot of the time you've just said there, they're getting sold on the UK being this great place, but a lot of people have relatives here, have people who have already, come into the country in the right way or however they've got here. But they've, they want to be with the people they know and love. And it's like when they're turning around and saying, well, now we can't do that, but we can send you to this other place where they've got nobody and nothing. And it's like, well, what's there for, mate? I understand that. I mean, it's like, well, just pick a country out of a hat and say this is where we're going to send you. It's a bit kind of...
Well, look what happened to Germany a couple of years ago when they went and brought in 1 million people. And like, it's not a case that we don't want people in, but it's a case of where do you put them? When you start, we've already got a building crisis as it is now. Now you're bringing in more people to fill up. So it fills up every year. And plus, don't forget, when Labour was in power, we had an extension of 8 million people at once come in. And then we were having dribs and drabs of people who were coming in as well on top. So that's a lot of things that need doing. We need more schools, more hospitals, more police, more fire brigade, more houses, more parks, more, you know what I mean, more roads, more you know what I mean. So it just goes to a certain
more. What anything
you know what
else
I mean?
we need more of
Yeah,
while you're on
we
it?
need more of everything. We need more intelligence within the government.
You see, I totally get where you're coming from. I just feel like, you know, I'm not.
But we
It's
can't
not
let 'em
even
down.
something I can fight, because it's like, you know, at the end of the day, it's like we can't let people, like you say, you can't let people down. People are, you know,
Desperate. When you're desperate,
yeah,
you
and I
know
mean,
what?
they've got as many rights in human rights as I have,
Yeah.
you have.
Yeah.
They've all got the right to lay their head down in a safe place
Yeah,
at
exactly.
night, and that's the main point at
Yeah.
the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's like, if that,
But we can't be picking who can
I
come
know,
and
I
who
understand that, but I mean, if they're willing, and if they go, do you know what? Yeah, go on then.
Yeah.
I mean, is it not better for them to go, do you know what? I'm going to take this deal and say, do you know, I'm going to make a new life in wherever, and
Well,
I'm going to get a house, I'm going to get somewhere to live, I'm going to get a fucking job and all the rest of it. My kids can go to school.
Yeah.
Is it not better for them to do that than living on a campsite, waiting and hoping that one day we might be able to get a boat and hopefully get across? It's not a viable option, is it? I mean, is it like, if it was the choice between that and that, I'd probably be like, go on then.
But that's if they can get to that stage, because you've got the problems as well of paperwork. Right, well, I don't know who you are. You've just had a disaster and all your paperwork's gone up in smoke. Who are you? You
Exactly,
know what I mean?
yeah,
And that is a difficult part to it as well.
Well, that's
I mean,
the
there's
problem
lots
where
of
there's like
issues.
that. Well, that's an issue where, you know, in terms of national security, where
Yeah, which
if
we
you're
need
letting
checks.
people into the country, they need to
Yeah.
be let in the right way. And I
Exactly,
do agree
yeah,
with that.
yeah.
I've got no objection to people being let in.
Yeah.
You know, it's as long as the right people are being let in.
Exactly,
So, you know,
exactly.
Anyway.
And especially with the days of terrorism and stuff like that as well, we've got to be careful of what happens.
At the moment, like it's we was talking about petrol prices earlier, about like, you know,
Yeah.
how much it costs to
Yeah.
fill up.
Goddamn ridiculous.
This Californian gas station manager
All right.
fucked up royally.
All right.
Oh, mate. Right.
Oh, no, he weren't giving it away for free, was he?
Virtually, because I mean, anybody at the moment, especially if you work at a petrol station, you'd know that the prices are astronomical. Yeah, you'd get complaints.
Like 2p a day or
You'd be
something.
people complaining constantly, right?
Yeah.
So for this guy to do what he did,
Yeah.
it was a statement or an accident. I don't know, right? It does seem like it could have been a statement.
What did he do?
Right. Well, he accidentally made gas 69 cents per gallon.
Oh, nice.
He was fired.
I bet he fucking
Yeah,
was. But I
yeah,
bet
he
his
was.
mates were going, nice one, pudding.
Everyone's filling up drums.
Yeah, hell yeah.
A California gas station manager is taking responsibility after saying that he made a mistake that cost him his job by accidentally listing the gas at 69 cents per gallon. Normally $6.99 per gallon. Yeah.
All right, hundreds of thousands.
Fucking hell. So he's cost him a lot of money, hasn't he?
Fucking hell. And that must have been the whole day.
I don't know how long the period went for, but like the
been a
mistake
queue.
cost the gas station 16 grand.
Nah, that's nothing
So
to
after people were
chip
sharing
away.
the price on social media, the line started to form at the gas pumps, according to the outlet. You know, this was all down to a misplaced decimal point.
Can they do that round there? That's what I want to know.
69.9. I'm assuming that it was up at. So just shy of 70 cents.
Okay, now.
You can keep the extra point penny. So, I mean, it
could have been
seems
worse.
like a mistake, but
Could
I
have been
mean,
worse.
obviously, when he was ringing it up, he must have been like, "This is something's not right."
Yeah,
here."
why is everyone coming here and like avoiding all the other fucking?
I know, yeah.
I've got a queue.
He says he put all the prices on.
Promoted them though, didn't he? Really?
Of course, yeah, but I mean, he put all the prices on, like with the decimal point in the wrong place, apart from the diesel. But the last one, what's this? So the last one kind of didn't go on. So.
Oh right, so he did.
I don't know if he's realised.
Yeah.
Why would you not do the diesel as well as that? So he's saying
Exactly,
it like,
unless the diesel didn't change that day.
but the last one kind of didn't go on. So that's how he put it. So I don't know.
So he might.
That's what makes me think
might have
it
made a
seems
mistake
like
there.
he's not made a genuine mistake. He's done it purposely and gone, fuck
You reckon? You reckon
Fuck
criminal
'em.
charges?
I don't know
that's
if
16 grand out of the business.
Well, maybe he was like, do you know what? Like, I hate my job.
Fuck him.
I'm really sick of this. Yeah, I'm getting people complaining about the price of the fucking petrol every day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I make a statement.
Well, they want to blame their own president before they blame his petrol stations.
Who knows? Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. Oh, who knows what the mind of a gas station employee, how it works.
Well, yeah.
I used to be one, actually, so I kind of do know.
High off your head off fumes.
It's dark. Yeah, petrol smells amazing.
Yeah, it smells amazing, but it's not fucking great for you.
Well, probably not, but I mean, the smell of petrol is probably one of those smells that I could really, like, get behind. Yeah,
you smell glue?
No.
I've smelled them black pens, though. They smell nice.
Here's a mystery for you. Oh, yeah, those pens smell nice. They smell like cherry bakewells.
Yeah, but you won't want to eat one, won't you?
No, not at all. Well, here's a mystery for you, I say, right? So, this is a mystery of how a wheelie bin from Hampshire, England, turned up in the war-torn Ukraine.
Okay, now it's dedicated, isn't it?
I mean, honestly, this is a funny story. So, basically, a wheelie bin from Hampshire has been found in war-torn Ukraine, reported 1,200 miles away.
With a machine gun and a hat.
Yeah, so a journalist covering the conflict found the bin.
What the fuck was he looking for bins for?
He wasn't. He just come across
it on the floor going, help me.
It said Test Valley Borough Council on it.
Whoa.
Yeah, right. Trouble. And it was just there in the middle of fucking a war zone, like in the Ukraine, and close to the Polish border. So who knows? Well, basically, Phil Crowther.
Yeah.
I think that's how you pronounce it, Crowther. Who worked for AP News Agency, posted a video of the bin on Twitter, and he wrote to the council, how did one of your wheelie bins make it all the way to the Ukraine, and when's the pickup? Yeah, right? Bit of a joke.
Yeah,
right?
as you do.
But the council, dim as fuck, right, came back with, I've checked the notebook, and we don't seem to have a stock answer for your query.
You wouldn't?
You wouldn't, would you?
Oh, well.
Can I ask where in the Ukraine this is? And we'll make sure the collection address is added to the fortnightly round.
That's a long trip.
Oh, my God.
Take a fortnight to get there.
I mean, I know they're very fucking... they're not very regular nowadays anyway, are they? But, I mean, the fact that they just went, we'll make sure we get it picked up.
Yeah.
It's like, it's in the Ukraine.
How the fuck did they get that? I'm only thinking that it's gone across on a boat. In the back of a vehicle or
someone's
like
put all the belongings into it.
You can't put it in a plane, could you, really?
It's probably been put on the back of a lorry.
Yeah.
Like, and
then just drove off.
Yeah,
drove
I don't
all
know.
the way there, yeah. With
I really don't
stock.
know.
Yeah.
Honestly,
there's been some deliveries, hasn't there?
Oh, true that, actually. Yeah, there's been stuff that's been delivered by,
just throw that on the back, and stuff. Bit of a laugh. Yeah.
Have a wheelie
Let's
bin.
lock Bob in there.
Maybe they just loaded it up with bits and pieces, just as a container. I don't know.
Yeah.
But there is a mystery how that wheelie bin managed to make it all the way over to the Ukraine.
Good luck getting back.
I know. I don't think it's going to get back. It's probably just going to be like, fuck, I'm in the middle of a war zone.
You're going to be a rubber helmet next.
And the fact that we're just like, giving personalities to wheelie bins.
Yeah.
It's
we
normal.
Give away a lot
it's
of things,
normal.
We do.
Well, have you got any more news before we move on to NASA?
Railway strikes. Oh, nasty.
Oh, they're shutting down the old line, aren't they?
They are, but
Can't
do you
agree? Not going nowhere.
Do you agree of the thing that they're trying to do? I don't actually know if it's been put into law yet, but bringing in job seekers to go and take over, basically.
How do you mean?
As in bringing in...
I've always wanted to drive a train. Choo-choo.
Yeah, basically.
It's like, what the fuck? Is he qualified?
To cover certain aspects of it, I should imagine. But yeah, they want to try and bring in some temporary staff to just, take over while there's a 3-day strike.
I can't see it, to be honest. How are you going to get a load of people who have no experience working a railway network
on minimum wage? Which they get.
I mean, they're not.
It's been arguing
the idea of the wages. I mean, it's almost equivalent to the P&O cruise thing.
Yeah.
Where you're going to sack all your employees and hire cheap labour.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they've already said that. Well, they didn't do anything illegal, which sets a precedent. Do you know what I mean?
And other companies decide to
if
do
they
it.
decide, I mean, what you're saying is the government are trying to step in and say, oh, we'll just hire a load of people, or is it the train companies?
No, train companies want to do that, but they couldn't do it because of the law. But there's
right. Well, that's
a law
what I'm saying.
Right?
The law's already kind of passed, really, because that P&O cruise thing has kind of set that precedent now. Where, like I say,
which there should have been a law against it.
Yeah. So, but if they turn around and say, oh, well, fuck you, we're going on strike, and we'll just say, well, we'll hire extra people. Well, what's them to stop them saying, well, look, do you know what? Just don't bother coming back. We've got a load of people here that are working.
Gone, we just saved ourselves a shitload of money.
Yeah, right. And I mean, it's unions.
Which is wrong.
Unions were put in place to stop this type of thing happening.
But unions haven't got the brass nuts that they used to have, and that was taken away.
Definitely not. I mean, it's like, I don't know anybody who even bothers signing up to a union.
Yeah.
And when they're pitched at you, they're always like, oh, you can get 2-for-1 movie tickets or something. And it's like, well, other than that,
we don't want that.
Doing?
We want you to actually, represent us in a challenge against the company.
Well, yeah, and if I have any problems, that you'll fucking step in and sort that out for me.
Yeah.
Or as a collective, we're all not happy. Will you sort this out?
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem to be like that anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been offered in jobs in the past to join the union.
Yeah.
And when I see how the companies are operating, and I think, well, why is the union not doing anything about this? Because that's not really correct.
Yeah, because it individualised helps people, but not as a group. So
are
they don't
you
put
guys
things
is there anybody in a union that has actually done you a favour, or do you pay into a union and do you wonder why you do it? I don't know. I mean, is it a case of are they outdated, or like Taylor said, they've not got the brass fucking cojones to do anything?
Well, it's been taken away. In the case that they don't want it, it's just been taken away because of laws.
Look, I don't think any firm, no matter whether you're waste disposal or public transport or anything, they ever want to strike. Right?
No,
it is a last resort.
It is if you.
It's negotiations and stuff that go in force. And I mean, strikes only happen because of unions.
Yeah.
Right. So for them to turn around and say, "Well, we're striking," then being part of the union protects them from being fired for going on strike.
Yeah, partially. They're the ones who can give the argument to the government that, hold on, this ain't playing out right, instead of the government going, well, we can write out whatever we want and any laws and you're going to do it.
But it's like when you've got like stuff like this, what you've just been talking about, where you can go, well, all right, then will you go on strike, then we'll just replace you.
I believe the teachers are doing the same thing.
That's not really, it kind of takes the sport out of the game, really, doesn't it? In a lot of ways. So you can't really do that.
And you can only, now they're taking bits away, like you can only do certain protests, and if an officer doesn't like the way you're protesting, can take you out of it.
Well, they can do that in London, in a lot of places like Parliament Square and stuff like that. It's like that.
So you can't really protest as much as you want to.
What was it, Mark Thomas, where he was having a picnic with his friend, and he was told that he had to remove the cake because it was a political protest because it had a peace sign on it. Yeah. And it was like, what? No, it's cake, mate. And it's like, no, it's a political statement. Yeah. And he had to they had to remove the cake because it had a political message.
Because you can't say that shit.
And it's like having permission to protest. As things kind of progress, I think that, like you say, we'll be getting more and more of this sort of thing where it's not illegal. But if you don't approach it in the right way, you can't just turn up and protest. You've got to basically apply permission.
Method.
And when you get to the point where people who don't know the law don't apply for the permission and they just turn up, that's when, I was only executing my right for free speech and protest.
Yeah,
and it's like, well, no, you can't, but you're going about it the wrong way. Yeah. And then you get a fucking night in the cells.
Yeah, and they're fine, and
you wonder why.
Robbed you.
So, yeah.
And it is one of them that people need to understand their rights, to be honest.
We'll understand the law more than anything.
Yeah, because it keeps changing everything.
Right, well, moving on with the show, we've got some NASA news.
We have.
Which is quite interesting this week. We've got quite a lot of NASA news. China have developed a telescope to find alien signals.
Good.
Now, apparently, they found something which they say that isn't naturally occurring. It seems to be like a technology.
So they're stating that they
found life.
basically they found the electronical.
Now the funny thing is, there was a guy on the news talking about this, and the tragedy of it is how he put it was that we'll never be able to speak to him. We'll never, because apparently they're so far away.
I don't know
that we might never ever get to communicate with them.
Well, I don't know because France have just announced that they've done the first warp drive.
Oui.
Yeah,
Bonjour.
We'll get there first. We're giving them an onion.
And we'll give a string of onions and a beret.
Yeah, there you go. Oui, kiss on the cheek. Yeah, lovely.
We'll give you some. We've got existentialism.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But
satire.
Yeah, so we might get there. You know what I mean? I mean, technology is running
at mile a minute at the minute.
Yeah, it just keeps getting better and worse at the same time.
I know, yeah, like scary fast, isn't it?
Oh yeah. It's true.
Well, there you go. Do you know trash? I told you we talked about this, like space trash.
Yeah, there's a lot of it out there.
Well, you know, the Mars rover has just found trash on Mars.
Oh, aliens.
No, ours.
Our stuff.
Our trash.
Ah, see.
Told you. I mean, it's like
we can't go anywhere without dropping shit.
Well, this is the thing. It's actually part of the rig of the rover itself. So when it
when it was landing,
they have like these foil parts.
Yeah,
and
protection.
But I mean, how long's that going to sit there now?
Well, there's no rust.
Well, no, but I mean, it's just going to be sat there on the landscape. For
might be sat there
eternity.
Forever.
But this is the thing, though. There's some other aliens are going to turn up and go,
"What the
evidence
fuck?
of life on Mars?"
Hey, that's a good call. That
they're going to go, "Look, there's evidence here of life being on Mars."
We could meet in between. This is the planet where we met. You know what I mean?
Well, because we found a bit of your rubbish.
Yeah, they found our rubbish and decided, hey, what's going on? Oh, all right, I'll leave a little message.
All right,
or an SOS.
Have you got any news? Do you want to report?
James Webb got hit.
Really?
Yeah.
What? So what? A rocket, a rock, or an asteroid or something?
Well, it was supposed to be a small asteroid, but it was quite big actually. That hit it. It's okay as far as it's going up to now, but luckily it didn't hit any of the important
apparatus.
Yeah.
It's a risky take when you push stuff up into space, isn't it? I mean,
it is, because there's a lot of floating debris. I mean, we get 5,000 tons of dust from Mars on our planet every year. That's a lot of dust.
It's mad to think that,
yeah,
isn't it?
Yeah.
Well,
a lot of shit coming in.
Don't forget, if you want to help us send something to space, let us know your suggestions for what you want us to send.
Oh, yes.
It's a reality that we want to make happen.
We do. So, and we got ideas out of our minds, eh?
Well, so many that we're asking you.
Yes.
Well, we have got some, but, we want to put it to you guys as well.
Yeah, we want you to be a part of
did you see there was actually a UFO captured at the Queen's Jubilee?
Oh, no. Was this behind the Red Arrows?
It was, yeah.
Right,
we did talk about it last week, I'm sure, but a couple of weeks ago. But, there was definitely something. But, I mean, like...
there's better pictures of it now, and
well, not necessarily more pictures, but there's definitely more kind of information. The UFO was caught on camera during the Queen's Jubilee parade. The object was moving very high, a high rate of speed, as fighter jets made the flyover. So they've got a map of where it was located,
right?
And so it appears to have once again occurred last week during the Queen's Platinum Jubilee that a UFO had, turned up. Obviously, the internet went silly for it. And obviously, being the Queen's Jubilee, goes back to that theory I've got about, historical events. They always turn up at historical events.
That is true. And you know what? A lot of street events, they seem to be turning up as well now. So it's...
What, like dance parties?
Well, like different kind of parties. I mean, look at that a couple of years ago.
Like street parties,
Argentina or somewhere like that in South America, where
Mardi Gras.
you'd seen one with a flyby. And America
right,
as
okay.
well. I think that was last year.
Swabby involved, don't they?
Yeah, they do, and they're showing themselves more, even though
They
they're
are,
supposed to
and
not want to show themselves.
America's best astrophysicists at the moment are talking about UFOs and taking them very seriously.
So they should.
And they're saying maybe we should too.
Yeah,
I totally agree. I think
Always
like
said
these
this.
people who, would say that they've been saying that for 60 years, if not longer.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously tonight's episode goes back into the 1800s.
Yeah,
in
so a
terms
lot
of the
of
first
years.
recorded UFO
Yeah.
crash. But people have been seeing stuff in the sky way before that.
Yeah, what was it, 1556? It was a painting of, I think it was over Germany, where there was loads of supposed ships and that fighting, and then I think the same, like another painting happened in, I think it was Sweden, somewhere like that, where they drawn that there was actually a sky fight and stuff like this. There's loads over the paintings in history that
Totally. There's definitely a lot of depictions of something that isn't what we'd consider like of our world, but like
we're not complete, and we've got a lot more.
That's the thing. It's because all this information. It's very kind of sketchy in terms of where it comes from and when it comes from.
Yeah.
The idea that there is something that ties them all together. These sort of images of craft and potential spacemen or whatever, elongated heads and people who don't look like Earthlings.
Yeah.
There are these ties, so there is something to it. I think like whether people take it seriously or not, or if they're not even bothered, because there's going to be a lot of people who were just like, well, it doesn't affect me in that way. I mean, if they announced they found an alien world with alien species with high intelligence, a lot of people would be just like, well, doesn't change anything for me. Maybe it changed the energy crisis. Maybe
exactly.
It could turn stuff
Could
around.
Be one of the
Who knows?
greatest things that ever happened to humans on this planet.
Maybe they've got some good box sets I could watch.
But then again, they may be bad. You know what I mean? They might decide to turn up and go, right, well, that's
mine. That's mine. We're gonna take all your shit.
Exactly. And
see you later.
Yeah, but that's the chances that we have to take.
Well,
we're noisy little buggers, and
we do attract a bit of attention. Well, we don't attract it. This is why we have all these visitations, probably because we do attract a lot of attention. We're like buzzing, if you like.
Still listening to Hitler in like 1940.
So I totally agree that we do kind of draw a bit of attention to ourselves. So. Well, that's the episode. Have you got any more news you want to talk about?
Just one. The Cargo Dragon mission was postponed for a leak. They found a leak in their engine.
Oh, God, that could have been dodgy then. Yeah, well, I'm glad they found that and postponed it. So when's that going to be taking place?
I'd reckon they're going to have to quickly fix it, because the people in the ISS will want their sandwiches and their bacon butties.
Like, come on, man, I'm starving.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a Mackie D's order.
When they open that door, George is farted all day.
Well, he's just stinking. It's like I'm going out for a spacewalk.
Yeah.
It's like, so sick of this.
Yeah.
Right, well, that's us for this week. We'll be back next week with another thrilling episode. I'm sure you'll agree.
Yeah.
If you've got any comments, queries, or suggestions, you know what to do. You can email us at neverstraightanswer@gmail.com.
Come see us.
Say hi.
Say hello.
You can go over to the website and hit up the contact page and get in touch with us that way. You can go over to social media, where we're active on Instagram at NeverStraightAnswer and Twitter at NASA_Never.
Yeah.
We're on all podcast platforms, so no matter where you get your podcast, I'm sure you'll find us by searching Never a Straight Answer Podcast.
Easy.
Or the Never a Straight Answer Podcast.
Yes.
We're on YouTube, where we'll be adding extra stuff.
We will.
And all that stuff, all that jazz.
All right.
So make sure if you've not subscribed, do that. Subscribe and
like us. Put a like on.
Like us. Tell a friend. Tell your mum.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell your neighbour.
Especially tell your mum.
Tell your boss. Tell your boss he's got to have a meeting about us.
And then he has to tell all the rest of the employees.
Yeah, and you know what I want? I want a festival next.
All right, you fucking hell, he doesn't want much, does he?
No.
I tell you what, but yeah, I mean, if you want to help, if you've got any ideas about our space launch, do get in touch. If you've got any ideas, we know what we've got an idea of what we want to do. We know what we want to do. Idea. But if you've got anybody who wants to get involved, get in touch. And if you've got any expertise or speciality skills, I've got a certain set of skills.
Oh, yes.
We want to hear from you. Right, anyway, well, that's us for the end of the show. Thank you for listening and staying till the end. We'll be back next week. We've got some really good alien stuff coming up.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be alien crazy here, man.
Alien crazy isn't the word. No. Anyway, right, we'll catch you next time. I've been Gaz.
I've been Taylor.
This has been the Never a Straight Answer podcast. Peace.
Out.